Hello, hello everyone. We should be live now with the proper orientation. Just let me recheck this. Perfect. Thank you so much for your patience. I apologize. It's Jennifer here with Crafty Hour 65. Hopefully I've got some eyeballs popping on here. You know, Deanna's away and we have a little bit of muck-ups, but that's all right. We are here and I'm super excited to be presenting this Crafty Hour with you. As you know, everyone, how much I love 49 and Market. So I was super excited when Deanna had asked me if I would like to present this one. I'm not getting any comments, so if someone could maybe comment and see. Okay, perfect. Joyce, thank you so much. I've got a bit of a lag here on the iPad. All right, hope everyone is doing wonderful today. It is a beautiful day here on the West Coast. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying some sunshine. I'm going to be doing 2 cards with you today with the Moonlight Garden album kit. Of course, we're doing cards, so it's always fun to mix things up. And as I mentioned to customers in the store as well, 49 and Market is so versatile and they have such beautiful die cuts and lasers and all sorts of things. Even if you didn't manage to not snag a kit, you, I'm sure, can kind of craft along with me with what you might have on hand and hopefully learn a few little tips and tricks and techniques. Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. Okay, excellent. Looks like I've got most of you all hopping on. Again, I apologize for starting a couple of minutes late. I thought I had everything under control and the phone in the right orientation, and I did not. All right, so we will be doing 2 cards. I'll give you a little quick peek here of what we will be doing. One is going to be a bit of a fun fold, so it kind of flips out like this, and then it can sort of stand up on its own like this and also kind of fold out. So hopefully you can get an idea of that here, which is super fun. And then the other one that we're going to create, we're using, we're making use of these beautiful laser cuts and die cuts and everything. And this is where I talked about if you had on hand an embossing folder that had like smaller detail in the background, because we're going to be playing with just a little bit of ink. But again, totally not necessary, but I used it a little bit on the back of this card here. All right, so what we're going to start with, I'm going to do card number 1 first here. And the reason I chose this as number 1 is it's a little bit more complex as far as doing some cutting and measurements and some folding, but I promise it's not too difficult and it definitely is a card that makes an impact. I had asked in the homework to pull some die cuts, and also had mentioned about pre-cutting some foil or something if you wanted to mat with that. So if you can just set aside those laser cuts that I had asked to pull out. I had added a picture in to where the instructions were for what to grab and kind of what cardstocks and stuff. I'm just gonna set my little pile of die cuts to the side here. All those little goodies, bits and pieces. And the other thing that I had asked, as I mentioned, was pre-cutting some foil. Just gonna refresh the comments here because I'm not seeing any. So if everybody's still there, please just say hello. Okay. These were what I had asked to pre-cut, and then I had also asked for a sheet of white cardstock, and then pre-cut as well a 4 and a sorry, this was a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 white square. So there was a supply list that was posted, so hopefully everybody kind of saw that. And then the pieces for the foil, I had asked for 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then 2 of 2 1/8 by 4 1/8. So those were the ones that we had posted to the event. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, hello, Roberta. Great. They're starting to come up again. I apologize if I miss anything when you are asking any questions. I will try to keep up with them. For some reason, the comments seem to be lagging quite a bit. So we're going to set these ones aside. We're going to start with this piece of white cardstock, which is your standard 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And I had asked if you could grab a trimmer with a scoring blade or a scoreboard, whatever works, but we're going to be doing some cutting. Let's make sure I've got that in here so you can see what we're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is, and I've kind of have a little sheet here as well. I'll put that in the frame once I cut. But we're gonna take that, and on the 11-inch side, we're gonna cut at 8 1/4. So we're gonna measure that up. We're gonna come along here, and we're going to, at 8 1/4, we're gonna cut our cardstock. Hopefully everybody's doing okay and following along. So I'm going to take that on the 11-inch side and just make a cut. All right, and then I'm going to rotate that. So now we are at our 8.5-inch side. And on that side, I'm just going to cut it directly in half. So we are going to cut that at 4 1/4. Good morning, Kim. I don't know if anyone else is popping on there. I'm starting to see a couple of comments. Okay, so let's line that up and let's cut that at 4 1/4. There we go. Okay, so this is where now we're going to be doing some scoring. So I'm going to put this out here. And what we're going to do is we are going to score at 2, 4 1/4, and 6 along, obviously, the long side of the card. So let's see, maybe I can get that in frame here so you can see that. So we're going to take this piece and we're just going to measure up, and we're going to hit at 2. And make sure if you're using a trimmer that you're using your score blade and not your cutter, because I'm sure we've all done that. You know, not speaking from experience or anything. All right, here we are at 2 inches. We are going to give it a nice score there. Then we're going to move it along to 4 1/4. Line that right up there. And put that in there. And then I'm gonna score at 4 1/4. And then I'm gonna take it along and score at 6. Everyone following along so far? Oh, Debbie, I'm not sure. I'll have to get Stacy to look into that when she comes in. I'm not sure. I know that we've shipped out the majority of the Crafty Hours, or anyone that had asked to ship. So we'll definitely look into that for you afterwards. But what's nice about this is that this is something you can follow along, and even if you just play with the plain cardstock, create the basis, learn the different scores, you'll learn a new, well, I don't know if it's necessarily a new fold, but a different fold, which will be fun. So we've got one piece like that, and then we're gonna go to the next one. Same thing, scoring at those measurements, which is 2, 4 1/4, and 6. I'll put that in here. We're gonna take that, and again, making sure I'm using my scoring blade. So I've got 2. And we'll measure up there at 4 1/4. 6. There we go. Okay, so for right now, make sure that I've got, yes, and you should have 2 pieces that are exactly the same, scored in the same areas. And I am not going to admit out loud how long it took me to fiddle around with these measurements, but I've got it down, I promise. All right, so we're going to set our trimmer aside. So we've got that here. Now what I did, and I think this was originally, I learned this term from Courtney, is I created, I think it was one of the Maker Manias quite a while ago, a sloppy copy, so to speak. So I thought, because I am very much a visual person, I did these little templates that make it easier for me to see visually, and hopefully for you, because obviously we're translating on camera, to be able to see where our measurements are and how we're going to fold those. So we're gonna have, because on the card obviously we have a left and a right side, and these pieces are going to attach to the back. We're gonna need to do different folding orientations on either side for the card. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pieces, and what you'll notice is one side is going to have a score line at that 2. On the other end, this piece right here is going to be 2 1/4. So we're gonna start with the end that is at the 2-inch score line. Hopefully everyone can see that. All right, is everyone following along okay? I know sometimes it can be tricky with different folds and stuff, so I've tried to make this as uncomplicated as possible, at least for me, because I'm not a numbers person. So we're taking this, again, this is my 2-inch side, which you can see right here. And I'm going to take that and I'm just gonna fold it, so I am creating a mountain with that one. So we're gonna take that 2-inch, create a mountain fold, okay? So then the next thing we're going to do is the piece here that is the 2 1/4 side is going to again be a mountain fold. So we're gonna take that and fold it over. There we go, okay? So we've got our 2-inch side with the mountain fold, and we've got our 2 1/4 inch side with the mountain fold the opposite way here. So then what we're going to do, and you'll see that it kind of opens up like this, is this piece in here, we're doing a valley fold. So we're folding it in. Okay, so that's just gonna fold in right like that. So we're going to be left with a piece that looks like this. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna burnish my score lines. There we go. Got that there like this. So again, that matches up, and this is going to be the left side of my card. Now we're gonna move to the right side of the card. And same thing, we're going to take this 2-inch side here, and I am gonna fold that in a mountain fold. Back ways here like this. Okay. There you go. So then what we're going to do is this here is your 2 1/4, and same thing, we're doing that up as a mountain. Let's put that in camera here for you. Okay, so we've got that there. Then the next thing, same thing on the inside, we're gonna create that as a valley fold. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna fold it in. There we go. So we've got our paper that is going to sit just like that. So we've got our mountain. We've got our mountain fold here. And then we've got our valley fold. So they're gonna fold over just like that. Judy, for my car bases, I'm just using, I believe it's a 100-pound hammer mill. I found I had some heavier when I was doing the template for this, and my heavyweight white, I found it a bit bulky. It didn't sit as nice. Definitely doable, but because there's layers, so I actually ended up going to the hammer mill. But you can do, like, I think what I initially had done it with was Nina, yeah, it was Nina Solar White, 110 pound. Okay, so sorry, I flipped this around the wrong way. All right, so we've got these here. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna be doing our attaching. So it is the 2-inch side, which we have here, that is going to attach to your actual base. And I had asked that you pre-cut a white 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 cardstock. So, and we're gonna attach like this. So it's just basically, they're gonna line up like this. Now, what you'll find too with scoring is sometimes, you know, maybe it's a smidge off here, a smidge off there, just because we're working the papers and we're moving them back and forth. If you find that your score lines are not completely, these ones actually turned out pretty good, but they're not completely measuring up the way you want it, just take a little smidgy off. And you can do that and just kind of even them out. But these ones turned out pretty well. So again, what we're going to do is going back to the template, our side that has the 2-inch fold on it is going to attach to the base of the card. So we are going to get that. So this is what it looks like here. This is how we're gonna line them up. Same thing with this one here. We're gonna line them up. And all I'm gonna do is, because of timing, I'm just actually gonna use my tape runner, because this is really quick and easy, and I actually find that this holds quite nicely. So, and I don't like things falling apart, so I'm probably a bit obnoxious on how much I put on there, but that's all right. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna put that along here. And everyone's doing okay with the fold? Anyone have any questions? Because this is how it's gonna come out. So you'll notice it'll pull out. Up my, give me 1 sec, so I have the orientation right. Just a second, I apologize. Okay, let's start with the right side. So we've got our paper here. We've got our paper here. I'm going to attach my paper. This might make it easier to show. Okay, we're gonna take it here because this is what it's gonna be like when it's folded. We are going to, oh my goodness. Maybe it's better for me to show on the back, I apologize. Okay, we're gonna take our paper and we are going to okay guys, I apologize. Give me 1 second. I'm not sure what I did now or how I managed to do this. Let me grab another piece of paper. See, the fun of live TV, right? This is, even instructors end up taping the wrong side. So let me put this back here. And this is why I did a template. And now I'm mucking all of you up. Okay, here we go. Let me grab the other pieces I have here. There we go. Everyone okay? Okay. Here we go. Sorry, guys. What we're going to do, I ended up putting the glue on the wrong side. So that's what happens. There. Right. So see where I have written here, attach this side. These are the pieces here. It wouldn't be a crafty hour with me doing at least a little muck up. It's okay, right? Everyone doing all right? Okay, here we go. And this is why we did some sloppy copies. Okay, so this is the side we're going to attach. This is where I'm going to put my adhesive. And you know what? I think I did that on the other one. I just think I stuck it on the wrong way. So we're going to take this and then we are going to put that along here. And then it's going to pull out. And it'll be the same thing. It's going to pull out, so you can see right there. And I think I did attach it right the first time. There we go. So we've got that. So like I said, if it's not completely measuring up, you can always give it a little trim afterwards. Like here, I can see with my little piece, I've got it over a little bit, and we'll just shave that off so it lines up nicely. Same thing we're going to do over here. Have our piece, which again, this is the left side and this one is the right side, and we're going to attach this side to it. So it's the one that folds over like that we're going to attach. So we're going to put our adhesive right here. And see, live again, like I said, now my tape runner is not working on me. Here's a quick tip. If your tape runner doesn't work, you can just re-roll it in. Oh, I can't make this stuff up. Let me grab my liquid glue. How's that? Let's get some liquid glue. All right, calamity of errors. There we go. Let's get that on here. And I kid you not, I created this card probably 5 different times beforehand. And of course now is when we're gonna have an issue. So same thing, just lining it up. So what's gonna look like on the back is you're gonna have it attached on the back just like that. So there will be a little gap, just like you can see on this one. Let me move all that out of the way. And it's gonna come out. Okay, everyone doing all right? Thanks, Suzanne. Honestly, this is just if you know me, this is very typical, so it's okay. I know you guys are forgiving, and hopefully you're learning something new. So here we go. And I have no idea why it did all that to begin with. But anyways, that's all right. Here we go. So we've got our card base. Same thing, gonna close that up. It's gonna sit just like this. Now's the fun part, because this is when we get to decorate everything. Again, like I said, sometimes it cannot line up, so we're gonna real quickly get in here, and we're just gonna give it a little bit of a smidge off. It's the one thing I love about having the guillotine trimmer. It's perfect for these things. There we go. Okay, so we've got these. Now, as I mentioned before, I had asked you to have ready some foil. So that is gonna go on here, and we're gonna just have that nice little bit of border, and we're gonna do the same thing with the pieces on the outside. So I'm gonna glue those on here. Just a little bit of a border. Put that on there. Line that up. Oh, looks like I need a little smidge off that one too. Trim that. All right. The nice thing about the crafty hours though is that even if you don't end up, like I said, getting a kit, then what you're gonna do is you can just play along. You can learn the folds and play along. Got my 4. And we'll put that on there. And then we're going to, so now the next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna get our layers on. I'm gonna have to start speeding some stuff up here. All right, we're gonna get those in there. We're gonna have it so our card folds up like this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim up some of the pattern papers. So I had asked for you to have these 3 papers out. And I gotta move this to the side here now. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to take the dark gray pattern paper, and we're gonna cut 2 pieces 2 by 4. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a 2-inch strip, and because these are 8.5 by 8.5 papers, we are just going to cut this in half. We'll put those on there. I'm gonna line those up and just glue those on there. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is, there was also this one here, this paper here, and then this one we're going to cut. Oh, it's easier for you to see on the, so this one here we're going to cut at 1 and, what did I cut this one at? 1 3/4, and then of course that is going to be by 4. As you can see there. So we're going to take that and we're going going to do 1 3/4. And then we're going to cut at 4. And that's going to fit. Hang on 1 second here. Actually, sorry, that's actually going to be 1 I'm going to need to do that at the 8th. I'm going to need to have that little bit of extra. So let's do, we're going to do 4 and an 8th. I don't know why I'm getting so frazzled. I apologize, everyone. And so let me write that down here. What we're going to cut these is we're going to cut them at, we're going to do 1 1/8 by 4 and an 1/8. There we go. Sorry about that, everyone. So I'm going to take that here and just trim that. Actually, that's not the right measurement either. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm sorry, everyone. I have no idea why I had it all taped up. I had all this done. We are going to do the mat on the inside. So what this is going to measure is we're going to want it, and because this actual fold is going to be at 1 3/4, we're just going to go in a bit from each side of that. I'm just going to take it a smidge back. There we go. And I'm really not sure why I have managed to muck this up so much. I really apologize. And that's going to be 4 and an 8. And that's going to be what's going to fit on your inside here, like that. And same thing, we're going to go 1 and just a smidge under 1 3/4. And then we're going to do the 4 and an 8. All right, I need to get motoring. I apologize. This has been ridiculous. So we are going to put those on there for that one. So those are going to attach to the inside pieces here, and then I'm just going to get to decorating it so we can all move along. Thanks, Fran. I've never had this much of an issue, but that's okay. I will be all right. I am sorry for the frazzling, but yeah, it's all good. We are good. We're gonna do this one here, and this is gonna be at 4 by 4. Okay, so that is the light gray. That is going to go right on here. And we're just gonna glue that down. Let's get to the fun part where we get to start decorating and using all the clusters and everything. There we go. Got that there. So let's put these on the inside. I'm gonna let you kind of see here. So what we have is our pieces here. The first thing we have is this one here. You should have that pulled out. So how I decided to decorate that is I always like with 49 and Market creating some lovely clusters. And I just need to grab don't have my frame here, so let me just grab the frame. There we go. So we've got this single frame here. I took this was fun, the little black kind of chicken wire. And these, because they're such delicate little die cuts, they're kind of hard to attach. All I did to start mine was just take a little bit, I just added a little bit of glue there. And I'm gonna take a little bit of glue on this side here as well. And we're just gonna kind of arrange it so it creates just a little bit of interest in behind here. So you can put it however high up or down you want it, but just sort of put that in there, just like that. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna arrange some of our greenery. So we have these pieces here. Mine might vary a little bit in color because of course we had some duplicates, but not tons of duplicates. We're gonna arrange that there. And then we're also gonna take in this beautiful little floral cluster. And we're gonna kind of just fit it in there. Now, when I'm working with these delicate die cuts, what I like to do sometimes is use little mini glue dots. I know I've done this in the past for you. So I like to take a little bit of a glue dot, and I'm gonna take just my little end of my tool here. I'm just gonna pull up some little mini glue dots. And I find that this is a good way to kind of get them to adhere to each other. I'm gonna bring this down just a smidge. Let's put those, let's maybe, and again, it's all kind of plain. I think I'm actually gonna bring that to the front here. And then we're gonna just arrange that one a little bit there, have this poke out a bit. So what I like to do is where I've got these bigger leaves and stuff, I just kind of stick a little glue dot in behind there. Because I don't need like a lot of adhesion, so I wouldn't cover it in sticky specks or anything like that. Those are excellent for very fine details, but this, because we're just kind of sticking it down in some random places, it's not totally necessary. So I'm gonna take probably another one, and I'm just gonna place under this leaf here. We'll stick that in there. So we're just kind of sticking them together a little bit. I'm going to take another little one and add it to the frame here. Everyone's doing okay? Push this in behind here. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now we've got some more little bits and pieces to kind of play with here as well. With doing the focal point. I actually attach this directly to this piece here because I wanted that flat and then having some dimension just on the top part up here. There we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of that glue, and that's where it's nice with the fine tip of using the glue press, or even any of the bottles. Barely Art works really well. Any of those ones to get some adhesion here. There we go. So we're gonna just place that little cluster here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take this piece here, and then we're also going to take, we had a little piece here as well. I just kind of tuck that. Everyone can see there okay? I'm going to take just a little bit of that there. we're gonna put that to the side here. Just like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this label. Now I used just a label because I thought you can put whatever you want there for sentiment. One of the things that I was thinking might be really cool is if you've got any of these little ones, like those labels. That was these. I know Stacy had some on a sale yesterday. They fit really nicely there, as you can see here. Put that. But I left it blank for whatever type of card you wanted to make it. The other thing that I thought could also, if you had wanted to, is this can actually tuck quite nicely in there as well if you kind of wanted a bigger sort of sentiment. So for this piece here, I actually used some foam. So we're going to take some foam along here, and we're just going to pop that up. Okay, I'm going to put that right along here. And then of course we've got our sweet little bird. We're going to put him on. I'm going to wrap this up because I want to get on to the other card. The other card's not super involved, so we definitely should be able to do it, but of course I went over time here with this one. And then another tip too, like I said, glue dots. I actually, because I don't want too much dimension, I just roll up a little bit of a glue dot and put it on the teeny tiny butterfly. And then I'm going to pull them off. And then I'm going to put them right on there. So then that's all going to go there like that. And then of course we're just going to attach that to the front of the card. Now the other die cuts, and this is where it's nice because it can be open for how you want to decorate your cards as well. I had asked you to grab these. I've just put them on the inside here. You can decorate however you want. I put a little flower with that one on this side, and I put a butterfly with that one on this side here. All right, so this is what your finished one's going to be like. I just put a couple of little blingy gems on there too to catch the light. A little bit of splatter would be great as well, but that is how your finished card is. So hopefully everyone was able to follow along, and let's get out our stuff for our next card. Any questions or anything? Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so for the next one, this one does not have a lot of cutting, so we should be good. I did ask for 2 pieces of paper, one being an 8.5 by 11, and the other one is this one right here. And then I mentioned to grab a white ink pad and an embossing folder. I used the script one from Spellbinders. So what we're going to do here is we are going to just take our 8.5 by 11 cardstock. We're going to create a card base. I personally are using a top folding. So I'm just going to cut here, but if you want to use a side folding, that is totally fine as well. I'm just going to create a card base. And again, we're going to score and not cut. There we go. We've got our A2 card base here. And then the other thing that we're going to do is we are going to cut this gray paper at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the reason why I want to cut it a full card front size is because when we emboss, it's going to shrink it a little bit, and then we're just going to trim it afterwards. So we're going to go 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so we've got it. So we've got a full card front there with that. Oh, Judy, that's a great idea. That's what I was saying. 49 a market is so interchangeable that you could definitely pull from your stash and use what you have on hand. So I just want you, or if you've already done that, is I'm just going to emboss this piece of cardstock. Quickly do that. And then we'll have, I love embossing and doing different things with pattern papers and kind of playing it up because it gives texture on texture look. So you've got that nice texture there. And like I said, script would work, any fine, like smaller pattern would work. I'm going to take the Hero Hues white is the one that I have. Any white pink crafting, or pardon me, any white pigment ink, crafting ink will work. We actually just got some of the unicorn in cubes right now. So it's great. It's great to have the little cubes on hand as well. So I'm just going to take that, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of drag it along my paper here. So don't worry if you got some kind of smudged in there. That's all part of the look, but this is just going to pick up some of that raised script and give that little bit of, I personally don't try to do it perfectly. I like all these little smudges and stuff. I think it adds to it. It gives it, again, more texture. If you want to, you can take a little bit and kind of ink the sides. Gives it a little more detail. There we go. So we've got that. We're going to set that aside for right now because we want that to dry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take out some of these die cuts that we have. So there was we've got the trio frame. And we've got some of our little butterflies and some foliage. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this piece here, and what that's going to do, I'm not sure if I showed at the beginning, but we've created a little pocket. So as you can see right there, so that will fit a little gift card. So by taking this piece, set that aside to dry, I'm going to take a look, and this measured approximately, not including the tab here, we've got it at about 4 1/2. So what I want to do is I want to score it so that I've got a little piece hanging out here. So when you see here, what we're going to do is we're going to score it at around 2. That's going to give me my little back part here, so it looks like a little file folder, which I thought was kind of fun. So I'm going to take this, again, score blade. I'm going to take it so it's this part that lines up at, actually, let's flip it this way. That might make it easier. We'll score it this way at 2. So we've got it on that side. We've just brought it to 2. I'm going to give it a nice little score here, and then we're going to fold that up. So the one that I used, sorry, we're going to fold, oh goodness gracious, yeah, I should have done it from this side, see, which is fine because here, watch, we're going to fold on this side. Just flip it around if you already folded it. And we're going to do it that way. There we go. So we're gonna have it so it folds over just like that, and it's gonna fit on the inside. I'm gonna set that aside right now. And then this piece, we're just gonna take it and we are going to cut it in approximately half. Don't worry about it being too perfect or anything, because we're gonna trim it up anyways. I'm gonna take that and cut it. So see how it's not completely in half? It's fine because we're gonna cut this part off anyways. I'm just gonna take my guillotine trimmer because it's probably a little bit easier for this. And what I wanna do is I want to trim this off completely. So I don't have any of that inner circle there. We're just gonna take that and we're just gonna line it up to where all that's gonna trim off. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're very particular and wanna completely line it up so both sides are even and everything, absolutely go ahead and do that. Maybe I'll take this one and just trim it a little bit so it's not so much on an angle there. There we go. So we've got these two pieces now. Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, pockets are fun to add in a little bit of fun and detail. So they're gonna go on this. Now, remember how I said this here was a full card front and how things end up shrinking a bit with when you're embossing, especially if you're using like a thicker 3D embossing folder. This one isn't, but especially with those, it'll shrink the paper. So what I wanna do is I wanna have a little bit of a white border around here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this now and I'm gonna trim it and I'm gonna create so I have a 1/4 inch border. Now, if you want less of a border, absolutely go ahead. But for myself, I'm just gonna trim that around and I'm gonna take it at 4 and I'm gonna take it at 5 1/4. So we're gonna have that nice white border there. I liked having a larger white border because of like with these frames and stuff as well, but again, total personal preference. And then we're gonna take our little pieces here and we're just gonna glue them on. Everyone doing okay? I know we're getting down to the wire here, but we'll get this decorated up. And we're just gonna put that down there. So this is where, again, kind of, because these are such fine detail, I wanted to pop this up a little bit here. So I used, and I had mentioned in when to grab items, some of these little foam strips. They work really, really well. They are exactly the width. So I'm just gonna get some of these. Spare you having me do all of it here, but as you can see, what's going to happen is we're going to put it all the way around. Once we put that kind of all the way around there, I want it to have this piece here so we're kind of tucked in a bit. We're going to take our frame this way and we're going to tuck a little bit of that in there so some of it is coming out. And again, this is where I used my glue dot And I just like reaching for this rather than a little dab of liquid glue, because the liquid glue takes a minute to dry and then sometimes it'll slip when you're kind of fussing and trying to arrange where you want it. So I'm just sticking one right in behind here. Put that right there. And then that's gonna give me that little bit of grab that I want. And we're just gonna kind of pull that over to where we want it to stay. There we go. And we can do the same thing because it'll hide in behind here, and then that's gonna get you to stay on the frame there. The other thing that I did is I took the tiny little one that says enjoy life, and I just covered up the life part by attaching my butterfly to it. So by doing that, we've got a little bit of a sentiment on the front. So that's going to sit here like this. And of course we got to give them a little floof. And then I just put them straight on there. If you want to pop them up a bit, you definitely can. I already had the dimension here from the frame. So I just kind of, again, using a glue dot because I can get a tiny bit of dimension but not super raised, and then it mails a bit better too if you want to mail. I put the glue dot in behind it and stuck the butterfly on there. So you can see here. We're gonna set that aside. Got a couple of minutes, guys. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna decorate our little file folder. And what I decided to do is I wanted a little bit of greenery kind of coming out, so I attached one on the inside. When I did this, I just basically took a little strip. The very thin double-sided adhesive, the Suquang, would work along here too. Just gonna put it a little bit on the side. We're gonna put this little guy over here a bit so he's sticking out. And we're just gonna have it kind of like that. And if you want to, and you don't want this sticking out so much, you can even take that one off and then kind of rearrange it and attach on the inside. So maybe let's put him here. I don't want it sticking out that much, so we're gonna put it. That's the nice thing about these two. You can kind of cut them apart and play with them. Let's put them right along there. Okay, do it like that. And then all I did, so we're gonna give it a second here to dry down. And then it was just a matter of arranging. I put this cute little postcard down. We put the little ticket, some greenery, of course. And then I also put a heart on this one. But you don't have to, you can just put your little butterfly there. And then that would be it. That's your little gift card holder. And then I just attached it with glue to the inside of it. And then you're able to kind of slip in and pull out. So thank you so much, everyone who bared with me, and we made it. I will be posting in Crafty Hour Creations, of course, the finished products, and also I will put the measurements in there as well. So then if there's any confusion on watching back the video or anything, I will have the measurements in there as well. Again, I appreciate you tuning in today. We really enjoy doing Crafty Hour here at Clipper Street, and from all of the team here, thank you again, as well as do not forget to tune in to Courtney. I am sure she has some fabulous projects, and I'm sure a little less blender free. But anyways, again, thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed. Here are our finished cards. Take care and have a wonderful day.